I opted to paint my Murphy bed because I wanted to add some color to this room that was otherwise pretty neutral. Fell in love with this color and got to work, but I will warn you, I didn't actually film any of the painting. Painting is not my forte. I didn't even prime it, which is just egregious. That is just terrible. You can't not prime. Don't do what I do. Anyway, okay, what was I saying? So after I got all of the parts painted, let it really dry as long as I could, it was time to start putting hardware back on, as well as figuring out this issue. This is the part where I gotta get the handle on from this side before I lay it down. That's the tricky thing about this, is you have to think about what handle you want way in advance, because this is about to be covered with the 1/4" mattress support material, and then you can no longer access screwing through the back into your handle, so that you don't have screws visible on the front, or depending on what type of handle you picked. But yeah, so this is, we are doing that big guy right there. It's one piece of wood made to look like 2 handles, and it's going down this center portion here. And so I have measured and marked it out on this side so that I can pre-drill on all those little dots and have somebody hold it on the opposite side while I fasten it. Here's hoping. What I ended up doing was using double-sided tape to put the handle on the front side, and just had it laid down so that I could pre-drill and fasten a ton of screws through that handle.
Can't see what you're doing on the other side. You're just kind of hoping you're not screwing it up. What a rep.
You end up getting really well acquainted with this hardware because you put it on when the bed is unfinished to prep it, then you take it off so that you can paint it, and then you put it back on again so you can actually use it. So I'm not going to show you all the details of fastening screws. I have faith in you. You can do it. So admittedly, I totally skipped this step a while back. I pre-drilled the holes and got set up for the leg hardware, but because I knew that had to come off before, edge banding and finishing and all that jazz, I didn't even take the time to cut that little piece of hardwood because it just didn't seem necessary at the time. Well, it's necessary now because it's time to put the bed together so that we can get it installed. So this is super simple. You just need a 3/4" by 3/4" piece of hardwood, and then you just have to find center on the ends and drill a 1/4" diameter hole about 1.5" deep to secure that to this hardware. Not exactly sure if the hardware is just a little bit too big for the 1/4" hole size that's predetermined in the instructions, but I had a really hard time trying to just use a regular Allen key to manually fasten the hardware for this piece. So I jumped ship before too long and got my drill, and luckily had a couple bits that would fit the hardware. So highly recommend grabbing a drill for this part.
Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's not gonna be fine.
2 hours later.
Oh yeah. Oh my. Oh yeah.
If you don't pull right in the center of the leg, it will wiggle a little bit, but this is really just form more than function. It's just so that both legs come down at the same time to make your life a little easier. We are cooking. By this point, we are on to the assembly instructions for the vertical Create-A-Bed, and we are reinstalling our hardware and preparing to lay down the 1/4-inch plywood mattress support on the inner bed frame. And just FYI, guys, if you ever have questions throughout this entire process, Create-A-Bed actually has a toll-free number you can call with people who actually pick up the phones and answer your questions. It's a great team of people based in Louisville, Kentucky, and they actually have a display room there. You can see some Murphy beds and try them out if you want to do that before you build your own. And with that, I want to give a massive thank you to Create-A-Bed for sponsoring this video today. Time to put the cabinet verticals on, but one thing I wish I had done before this step is tweak the adjustable ball stud plates before, because it's tricky to do when it's right up against the cabinet vertical, and the instructions suggest using a 7/16 socket. That didn't work well for me. I'm not sure if there's a size discrepancy there from the hardware that's provided, but I had to use a regular old monkey wrench, and you know, it's nicer when you can get that fuller rotation. So word to the wise, tweak your tension a little bit beforehand, which I know is hard to know. They say start at 5 for this model, the Queen Vertical. But as it currently stands in my guest space / office, I am much closer to a 4 than a 5. I'm truly at 4 for the proper amount of tension. So do with that what you will. First recommendation, just find help to do this part with. Don't try to stack stuff up and do it yourself like I did. Other recommendation, if you have to do it this way because you don't have a second pair of hands, it works great, but take your prop out before you fasten the second set of screws. Just be smarter than I am, okay? Thanks. So we opted to paint the wall the same exact color as the bed. It's a really easy trick to make it look like a more substantial built-in. Before you know it, it's time to stand up the bed and start installing it. This is a little bit nerve-wracking. We weren't really sure what to expect, but it actually ended up being quite easy to stand it up with a partner. If you do have handles on, which I assume you do, you're going to want to put something underneath the bed so that it is gliding rather than scraping as you go to stand it up. This is the part where you need to install the header board, and this was basically close to a tension fit for us. You put it in place between the 2 cabinet verticals, and we came prepared with a couple of squeezy clamps or trigger clamps to help us hold it in place as we drilled into the sides and fastened them on.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, Lord, help us. Oh my goodness, look.
Yeah.
This is the part where you have someone hold the bed from the front, recess it in a few inches, and you work from behind to install the gas springs. These things are tricky to push on just with your hands, and so I gave up after a few minutes and got a rubber mallet, and that did the trick.
Just gotta whack it with a hammer. Yep. Make your life easier. Hit it with a hammer. Okay. Okay. Bed stops turning.
Okay.
So you've got your gas springs attached, you have installed your bed stops. Time to just slowly walk it back where you want to install it against the wall, and you're in the home stretch. Time to celebrate a little bit because this thing looks gorgeous.
I'm very happy to be right here. Very happy.
I lost my helper, so camera angles were a little lacking, but this part is just where you are finding your studs and attaching the bed to the studs for a rock solid connection. So this thing is safe and you can open and close it without any worry of it falling over. In my opinion, this is the best way to order a new mattress, and especially from a company like this. Bed in a Box makes it super easy to receive delivery, and this is the point where it's time to put the mattress on the bed. And just keep in mind that there's a lot of tension on it currently, so you're going to need the mattress to weigh it down. If you don't have the mattress yet and you want to go ahead and adjust your tension, you can use weights or something. Just make sure you place them at the very foot of the bed and be careful. It does have a lot of tension at this point until you adjust those springs. A Bed in a Box mattress comes with a special cutting tool that makes it really simple to carefully slice through this plastic that the mattress comes wrapped in, and it begins to immediately let air in, and you'll hear like a gentle hissing sound. And then it just needs to be flattened out and it will slowly begin to inflate, especially after you open up this next layer of plastic. Just you wait. Now, it didn't take very long for me to realize that after getting the bed out of the plastic, I was going to need to adjust the tension on these springs because it still had too much lifting power. So in order to combat this, you just take your 7/16 wrench and you make a couple turns of the hex head to the right. And small adjustments make big changes. So just make sure when you're adjusting, you're doing it equally on both sides and just keep checking it every once in a while. There you have it. Hey, be sure to check out the description for more resources that can help you either with supplies or more tips and tricks for this project. I really appreciate you watching. If you found the video useful, leave a comment, give it a like, or share it with a friend. Most importantly, good luck with your project and have fun.